Hello and welcome to another time of Bible teaching. Get out your Bibles. That's what Bible teachings are. It's a Bible study. You know, I've had a lot of people ask me, or some people ask me, are you a Jew? Did you grow up Jewish? No, I did not. I actually grew up in several different churches over the time and grew up Baptist and then went to some non-denominational churches growing up to when there was a point where I was at one rather, really large church. I mean, not like Saddleback large, but, five services every weekend, 1,000 plus people at each service. And I was involved in everything, men's Bible studies, children's teaching, Awana, you name it, I was involved in it. Missions. Oh my goodness. It just, the drama ministry, it goes back. You imagine me being dramatic? But anyhow, I played the Easter presentation or the Ishtar presentation. I played the Roman centurion. Arr. But, when I got into prophecy, I started understanding and I started studying the beginning of the Bible, the prophets and Torah, because as Isaiah 46:10 tells us, God told us the end from the beginning. So we got to understand all that. Um, and I started understanding that something God says throughout Scripture is that he's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He doesn't change. But I was always taught that God did away with Torah. Matthew 5, it's fulfilled, it's over, you don't have to do it anymore. And I mean, I taught that to people in Bible studies. I had a guy that would come into the Bible study who was messianic, and he would start saying, no, it's not what it means. That's basically say, go get out of here with that stuff. It's over, it's done. And now I find myself on the other end of it, except I can present it a little better than he ever did. And it was through studying the Old Testament, studying prophecy, I realized that the church that I was in, I was lied to. And I know quite a few people who have woken up to this. It's pretty cool when some of your good friends are like, oh my goodness, you get it too? And I've lost friends over this. It is what it is. But what matters is truth, his truth. But when it comes to being lied to, I feel like I was lied to. It was interesting years later coming to a passage in Jeremiah. So let's open up our Bibles, where Jeremiah has a warning for Gentiles today. And it's in chapter 16, verse 19. Oh Lord, my strength and my fortress. Amen. I mean, yes, he is. He is our strength. He is our fortress. My refuge in the day of affliction. See that word affliction? That's the same thing you get in Jeremiah 30, where it talks about the time of Jacob's trouble, affliction. This is tribulation. And it's Yom HaKaseth, that we're going to be hidden away during that time. But then it says, the Gentiles shall come to you from one end of the earth, from the ends of the earth. So Gentiles from all over the earth are going to come and say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, worthless and unprofitable things. That's not going to help you at Judgment Day. Being able to say, hey, wait a minute, I was lied to. The pastor told me. And guess what? The pastor is not going to be standing next to you. He's not your advocate. So one of the main teachings, and this verse right here should really freak people out. People should be looking at, okay, what does this mean? What teachings in the church are there that have gone back? Fathers, there's no words for grandfather or great-grandfather in biblical Hebrew. So this goes back a long, 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 long time. Many, 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 many generations. Probably back to 325 AD, Council of Nicaea, and Constantine, and before that. But anyhow, so people should be freaking out, trying to figure out, how have I been lied to? But no, unfortunately, people see things and are presented with biblical truth about what prophecy, or what the Bible says. And if it contradicts with what they've been taught, they go out of their way to defend what they've been taught, even to the point of ignoring other scripture. That's dangerous. So I want to talk about Matthew 5:17, because this is the verse that people will use to say, see, everything's fulfilled. It's over. No, he didn't do away with it, but you don't have to do it anymore. Well, if you don't have to do it, then it's been done away with. Do not think that I have come to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. I've heard people say, well, the law was nailed to the cross. Well, Messiah was nailed to the cross and he wasn't done away with. And besides, who wrote the law? Messiah did. John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It's Messiah. He is that Word. By the way, if that law is done away with, it's so would the prophets be, the law and the prophets. Now, that's most of the Old Testament that's done away with. And the problem is, oh my goodness, you've got so many writings from so many people where they wrote from them. Messiah referred to them all the time. So do you have to get rid of like things that Messiah said that went back to this law and prophets? It gets complicated. What is it you get rid of? Guess what? The feast days, the appointed times of the Lord that we're looking at, they're part of the law. They're gone. Yeah, God doesn't change. In Proverbs 89, I think I've referred to this before and said David, but it's Solomon. My covenant I will not break, nor alter the words that have gone out of my lips. God doesn't change. What he says is forever, is forever. I mentioned that Messiah talks a lot and he'll reference things in the Old Testament. This is what we just looked at was in Matthew 5. Well, just before this, he started the Sermon on the Mount. Messiah had a conversation with Satan. And in this conversation, Messiah says, for it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. He's quoting from Torah. This is Deuteronomy 8, and he's expecting you to know this. His audience did. So when he says, what words are you supposed to live on? They would have known this is what he's referring to. Every commandment which I command you today, you must be careful to observe. This is talking about Torah at this point. That you may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which the Lord swore to you. And you shall remember that the Lord your God led you all the way these 40 years in the wilderness to humble you and to test you. Tribulation is testing. God tempts, Satan tempts. To know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. If the Lord tested you on that, how would that come out? So he humbled you and allowed you to hunger and fed you with manna that you did not know, nor did your fathers know, that he might make you know that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of the Lord. And at this point, you have to understand that the words that he's referring to are Torah. Wow. Let's look at one other place real quick. I'm not really following my notes, but hey, I do that. Let's go to Mark 12. And then we're just going to run through this and see what's really being said here. But in Mark 12, Messiah is being tested. And I only wrote Mark 12. Duh. Give me a second. Resurrection. Okay. So he's being tested, and they come to him and understand that this is the Passover lamb being inspected to see that it is without flaw, without blemish. And Messiah is that Passover lamb, which if the law was done away with, you wouldn't need a Passover lamb because Passover would have been done away with. Well, okay, you're going to do away with it in a couple days, maybe? Let's see what happens here. So one of the scribes came, and the scribe would be one of the wise men, the ones that would be the scribes that wrote the scripture. They followed around the Pharisees, and they were the learned ones about the law. And one of the scribes came, having heard them reasoning together, perceiving that he had answered them well, and asked, which is the first commandment at all? In other words, what's the most important commandment? And Jesus answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Lord, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. This is the first commandment. And the second is like it. It is this: you shall love your neighbor. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. Why is he quoting Torah? He is quoting Deuteronomy 6, 4 through 5, and Leviticus 19, 18. In a few days, he's about to be crucified. Why doesn't he say, hey guys, I'm about to fulfill all this, and it's done away with. You don't have to do it anymore because I'm going to fulfill it. I mean, we're only talking days before his crucifixion. But when asked, he's quoting Torah. Torah is nothing more than God's instructions. So let's go to Matthew, and let's walk through this real quick. Excuse me? Yes, I'm human. I sneeze. I could have paused. Do not think I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. What does this mean? Now, I'm going to show you I'm going to explain it first and show you how it plays out in the rest of the script passage. And then we're going to go back and look at what words mean and how words are used elsewhere in Scripture. Okay? Okay, these are idioms involved. To destroy the law meant to twist it, to make it null or void by trying to make it say something it doesn't, by bending it, to interpret it incorrectly. Okay? To take it to mean something it doesn't. To fulfill doesn't mean to fulfill like it's overdone with. It means to fill with understanding. All right? So let's look at some of these verses that follow, and you will see this. Have you not heard that it was said in the days of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be in danger of judgment? But I say to you, whoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of judgment, and whoever says to his brother, Raca, shall be in danger of the council. Let's go to 27:28. You have heard that it was said to the days of old, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you, whoever looks at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery in his heart. Go down to verse 31. Furthermore, it has been said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that whoever divorces his wife for any reason except sexual immorality causes her to commit adultery, and whoever marries a woman who is divorced commits adultery. 33. Again, you have heard it said in the days of old, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform your oaths to the Lord. But I say to you, do not swear at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne. 38 and 39. You have heard it, this is getting repetitive, isn't it? You have heard it said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you to resist an evil person. But whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also. Verse 43. You have heard it said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies. Bless those who curse you. Do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use and persecute you. Have you noticed something here? He keeps saying, you have heard. He's not saying it is written. There's a difference. This is what you have been taught, and it is wrong. People have taken the word of God. This is what he's saying. They have twisted it. They have made it null and void, and they have twisted it. As it said, they have destroyed the law because they were interpreting it incorrectly. That's the idiom that we're working with here. But he came to fill with understanding. He came to teach what was being taught incorrectly. All right, let's look at some definitions. And they're not perfect because we're dealing with some idioms here. To destroy, to throw down. Metaphor, to overthrow, to render vain, to deprive of success, to bring to naught. So if you are interpreting it incorrectly, you are bringing it to nothing. You are destroying it. And that's what it's talking about. Now, I will be honest, this word can actually mean, give me a second, to fulfill, but not to fulfill in order to end it, just to fulfill it as if to fulfill one of the feast days, like Passover. But here's something interesting. Let's go to Ezekiel 43. Revelation 1:6, we will be kings and priests. We will be priests. This is a description in the millennial kingdom of what the priests will be doing. Ezekiel 43. We're just going to look briefly at this. We're looking at 23 and 24. And that's not correct. I'm sorry. 44. Yes, Ezekiel 44. My apologies. And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and unholy, and cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean. That's animals and so much more. In controversy, not that there's a big controversy about this, but just that people are having a disagreement, they would come and bring that disagreement to the priest. And the priest, they shall stand as judges and judge it according to my judgments. They shall keep my laws, my statutes, and all my appointed meetings, and they shall hallow my Sabbath. That's what's going on in the millennial kingdom. How much of this stuff has been done away with? We don't have to do it anymore. Why aren't they doing sacrifices? They can only be done in the temple, and there is no temple. All right. Now, this word fulfill, let's look at a couple other places where it's used in Scripture. Go to Romans 15. Verse 14. Now I myself am confident concerning you, my brethren, that you also are full of goodness, filled with all knowledge, able to admonish one another. Now, the word for fulfill, there, I should have showed it to you earlier. It's plero, P-L-E-R-O-O, so pleru. I can't pronounce these things. So where do we see it here? I'm looking in the wrong place. Duh. Give me a second. I know it's here. Here it is. So filled, to be filled up. How is it used? That you will be filled with all knowledge. That's what Messiah was doing. He was teaching, filling with knowledge. Let's look at, it's in Romans 19 as well, 15:19. In mighty signs and wonders, the power of the Spirit of God, so that from Jerusalem round and about to Lithercum, I have fully preached the gospel of Christ. So let's see where this pleru is used. Fully preached. That's what Messiah was doing. They had been taught wrong. They had heard wrong. So he was fully preaching the law to them. We also see it in Ephesians 3. (19). To know the love of Christ, which surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled with the fullness of God. Yeah, it's filled there. And we'll go one more place. Colossians 4:12. That guy, FRS, who is one with you, a bondservant of Christ, greets you, always laboring fervently for you in prayers, that you may stand perfect and complete in all the will of God. So what word is it in there? Let's look. Complete, filled up with understanding. That's what it means. So let's go back to Matthew. So Messiah did not come to teach the law incorrectly. He came to teach it and to fill up with understanding, to teach it correctly. And that's what he does for the rest of this verse, or for the rest of this chapter. That's what he is doing. For surely I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, um, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass from the law till all is fulfilled. That word fulfilled there is not the same word. It is a different word. It is not pleru, or however you pronounce that. Oh, come on. This is used a lot of times to come into existence, to be um, receive, being, to come to pass, to coming of events, to appear in history, come onto the stage. Okay, so let's go back and see how that actually plays out here. For surely I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass from the law till all is fulfilled. Till the heaven and earth pass away, till that comes to happen. And that's what it's referring to. This is actually Hebraic poetry saying the same thing in different ways. When does heaven and earth pass away? Question, has earth passed away? Here's an example. Step back, stand up. You can hope, I don't know if you see my head or not, jump up and down. Earth is still here. It hasn't passed away. When does heaven and earth pass away? Go to Revelation. I believe it's 20, verse 1. Maybe 21. My apologies. And now I saw a new heaven and new earth, and the first heaven and earth passed away. This is after the 1,000-year millennial reign. This is after the great white throne judgment. It's not now. Is there? And so Messiah is saying that nothing, not the tiniest letter or little piece of the letter, is going to disappear from the law. But you know what? Most of the church takes it and just throws it away. Doesn't apply. Gone. They've gotten rid of it. Mistake. Definite mistake. Let's keep going. Therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches men so shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Sound like it's gotten rid of? It seems like the law and how your relationship with the law is going to affect your standing in the kingdom of heaven, in the millennial kingdom. According to this, somebody like a Billy Graham, who did not, as far as I know, did not follow the law and probably told people it's okay to have bacon. No, we worship on Sunday. He's got the least of the kingdom is the best that he can hope for. All right. See, now there's a problem here. And we don't know exactly, I don't know where the dividing line is. Because we see something similar to this in 1 Corinthians 3 when you get the Bema Seat judgment. And basically you have your works are wood, hay, straw, gold, silver, and precious stones. But it says that if all your works burn up, that the man will not be harmed. But we see things elsewhere that tell a different story. So let's go just 2 chapters further over in Matthew 7, where Messiah says, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' shall enter the kingdom of heaven." Kingdom of heaven is the topic, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, "Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name?" And I will declare to them, "I never knew you, you who practice lawlessness." Lawlessness is the condition of being without Torah by choice or ignorance. So, least in the kingdom or depart from me, I never knew you. Where is that dividing line? Well, on a couple occasions, he gave us a couple things. I'm just going to give you 2. Go to Ephesians. Where is this dividing line? Ephesians 5, starting in verse 1. "Therefore, be imitators of God as dear children, and walk in love as Christ also loved us and given himself for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God, a sweet smelling aroma. But fornicators and all uncleanness and covetousness, let it not even be named among you as it is fitting for the saints, neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor coarse gesturing, which are not fitting, but rather giving thanks. For this you know, no fornicator, unclean person, nor covetous man, nor idolater has any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and God." Those are all things that are breaking Torah. And Paul is saying that those people have no inheritance with Christ or God or in the kingdom of heaven. Let's go one other place in Galatians 5. I get a lot of people all the time, "Yeah, but I've read Galatians." Okay. Did you get it? Look at Galatians 5 with me. And we're going to start this 19 through 21. "Now the works of the flesh are evident, which are adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lewdness." These are all things that are breaking Torah. "Idolatry, sorcery, hatred, contentiousness, jealousies, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, dissensions, heresies, envy, murders, drunkenness, rivalries, and the revelries, and the like." In other words, and anything else that's like it, that's breaking Torah. "And which I tell you beforehand, because I also told you in times past, that those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God." So we've got not inheriting the kingdom of God, "Depart from me, I never knew you," to being least in the kingdom. Where's the dividing line? I don't know. I don't judge. I'm not willing to take a chance for me. This is my eternity. It's not like, next month's rent payment. I'm not taking a chance on this one. That's for me. Go back to Matthew 5, and I want to point out one other thing in here. "I am by no means in any way saying to anyone that you are saved by keeping the law." Okay, it is an act of faith. You walk in faith. By keeping the law is you're showing your faith. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But keeping the law by itself does nothing. This is the way it's always been. "For I say to you, unless your righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the Pharisees and the scribes and the Pharisees, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven." Now, I'm sure the Pharisees were sitting there the whole time he's talking. They were like applauding. And as soon as he said that, it's probably, "Kill him, stone him." And the people probably looked around like, how can we exceed theirs? Well, he tells us later it's because they were missing faith. They didn't have him. They were straining out gnats, but swallowing camels because they were missing love. They weren't loving people. All right. A lot of people will love to quote to me Romans 3. And Romans 3 goes at great length to talk about the law, how the law doesn't save you. Guess what? I agree, it doesn't. But how does Romans 3 conclude? What's the last statement that Paul makes in Romans 3? Do we make void the law through faith? Because of our faith in Messiah, do we make void the law? Certainly not. On the contrary, we establish the law. Paul never said to get rid of it. He said that our faith, our walking in faith, should establish Torah. Again, I don't judge. I don't know where that dividing line is, but it has to do with Torah. It's time, days away possibly from the rapture. We're supposed to be as the bridegroom, as the bride. We're supposed to be making ourselves ready, spotless, and ready to present ourselves to the groom when he comes. We're in a period of teshuvah, prayer and repentance, turning from sin, turning to God. What is sin? Missing the mark. What's the mark? In John. Yep. Am I not typing right? Whoever commits sin also commits lawlessness. Sin is lawlessness. Lawlessness is a condition of being without Torah by choice or ignorance. Anyhow, I thank you for watching. May God bless you. This is one of many videos I've done on this topic of being taught wrong. In the description of this video, you will see the other videos. May God bless you. I hope to see you at a cloud party real soon.